Welcome to the Your Living Proof podcast. If you love someone struggling with addiction and are searching for answers, we're so glad you found us. Families are the cornerstone of long-term recovery, yet they often go unsupported. Our mission is to strengthen and support this vital but often overlooked part of the addiction recovery process. We're here to help families understand what their role is and isn't in this journey. Addiction deceives and takes everything you're willing to give. But if you know better, you can do better. And we're here to help you do just that. If you're asking, how can I help my addicted loved one? This is your community.
If you enjoy watching podcasts, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. For more support and resources between episodes, follow us on Instagram at Your Living Proof or visit our website at yourlivingproof.com. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Your Living Proof podcast. I am Danny.
And I am Emily.
She's getting really good. In the last podcast, when she started, she had this voice. If you listen to
No,
it,
Danny let me do the intro, which he doesn't let me do.
She's all, welcome back to the Your... I love her voice. I've never heard that one before.
I just, it was an opportunity that apparently I won't get again.
She was her sexy voice. She's like, yeah. And I was like, wow.
Mm-hmm, for sure. It was a holiday episode, so I just was feeling charitable.
Okay. I hope you listened to the last episode. We're going from, this is crazy. I mean, we're talking about something that is crazy, addiction.
Yes.
The craziest, most lethal, horrible disease on the planet, Satan's greatest weapon. But only addiction can cause us to talk from one episode based on the holidays, which was really hopeful. Like it was a really good spiritual filled message to now this topic.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is episode 114, and it is the hidden epidemic.
What do you think it is?
Well, I'll tell you, just as a teaser, in all the years it's coming up like around 18 years now that I've either been in addiction myself, in recovery myself, long-term recovery, and then as a professional in the industry, it's becoming by far the most rampant thing.
Yes.
I don't even know statistically, and 99% of them are unknown. But it's those families, individuals with a sex and porn addiction.
So
now,
hard.
We've done an episode or two on this, but this one's a banger. We're going to get into it.
Well, we can never do enough because it's so rampant and it's affecting so many people. And there seem to be so few resources for y'all. And so we're here.
You know what? Addiction is the most selfish thing, right? Sometimes people even have a hard time relating with that word, addiction, dependency, whatever you
habit.
Need. Yeah, whatever you need to feel better.
Poor
about
coping skill.
I got plenty of those. Every addiction affects a person, right? Takes hold of a person. Here's how it progresses. That person, whether they made stupid choices that led them into this or it was trauma that led them into this, along the way, it intensifies. And it's not till way later on. Whenever the family discovers something, everyone always thinks that they just caught them in maybe the first act. This has been going on. It's progressed to a place. But all addictions not only take hold of a person, over time, choices turn into a disease of the brain, and this person becomes ragdolled. But every addiction also affects the people around it just as much.
Yep.
I would beg to argue that it affects the closest people to them even more because they're suffering and enduring the same without any of the benefits, right? Like your loved ones whose life is falling apart and is actually miserable now, they at least have these little tiny little moments. The moments used to be longer earlier on in the journey, but now these little moments that are short-lived, but still they get to have these moments where the people closest to them don't. They're just enduring it. However, I never like to differentiate one addiction from the other. For example, if you end up going into recovery because you were drinking or smoking meth or abusing pharmaceutical medications, benzos, methamphetamines, it doesn't really matter. I mean, for like a couple of days and how to help medically detox you, sure, it might matter. But after that, it doesn't matter. This addiction is uniquely destructive to those closest around it. Mm-hmm. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. It is the biggest secret. There's so much shame involved around it. There's so much, like beautiful Blondie over here said, that's limited resources for y'all.
I'm like, there's so few solutions offered as well. So if you're listening because someone you love, someone sent this to you because they know someone you love is struggling with this, I want you to hear me. You are not alone. And I don't mean that in a cheesy way. I literally mean there are millions of others who are suffering through this as well. You're literally not alone in this. I know it feels super isolating. It feels super crazy to talk to, even with your best friend, because you can't even tell her the things that you've endured or experienced. And I get it. That's super polarizing and isolating. But you are not alone in this. And for sure, now that you are here listening to this, you're not alone anymore.
Yeah, it's becoming the thing that I hear the most of. Now, it's also not just singular, because often pornography addiction starts at a young age. Individuals on their phone, most typical. It progresses quickly, but it almost always ends up leading into and segueing to other things, right? What was it when we were younger? Because believe it or not, like, I know my hair looking good again today. Actually, it's kind of sticking up. I'm old. Getting old. But back in our day, what was the gateway drug?
Weed.
Led to all these other This is it. And here's the super unfortunate part. People don't even have to go out and find this. That's what I think about when we were younger and some of us were introduced to pornography and how much effort you had to do to like go to those creepy stores or go like find a magazine, or it will find your way into, it finds its way into your home even if people aren't looking for it. So that's where it starts, and it segues into all these other things. So I'm grateful you said that. You're not alone. And I do think when people hear that, it's like, meh, but it is like,
no, like truly, you're not.
This needs to be screamed from the rooftops. It is the drug of our generation. It's by far the epidemic of all epidemics. It's just,
well, and it's eroding families in the core. Like it truly is. Like it's because no one seeking it out. I mean, there could be people seeking it out, but even for those dedicated to not seeking it out, it will find a way into your home.
yes.
Without your permission, without you wanting it there, with even you putting up walls to actually fight it, it's still in there because of this world that we live in, because you have a TV, because you don't live in the wilderness.
Okay, we're going to get into some like practical principles and things that you can do, right?
Yes.
To understand your role, how you can speak to this disease so it can hear you, how you can effectively intervene. We're going to get to that. But I do want to explain. I don't want to sit here and elaborate more because I think most people dealing with this know how bad it is. But this is a massive problem. I mean, even when you look recently, I've seen on social media, and there were some things posted. I think I was reading on the New York Times or Fox News or something about just on OnlyFans, right? Like,
yeah, the amount of members.
It's like 200 million members, and the majority, the biggest consumers are those that are here in the U.S.
The United States is by far and away the biggest consumer in the world.
So it's a problem. We know it's a problem. The accessibility, oh my gosh, it's the stupidest, simplest, easiest thing to get, right? But I want to talk about some of the dangers and why it's different in two perspectives. First of all, the actual satanic drug itself is accessible. There's no scent. There's no drug test to do it. It's easy to hide. It's going to find children whether they're looking for it or not. It's easily shared. I mean, and for heaven's sakes, even in the standards of our society that have collapsed, a lot of it's just even condoned, or it's like
Yeah.
not even.
It's like not considered
It's
to be.
entertainment.
Yeah.
As long as it's not illegal, as long as it's consensual. I mean, it's insane, right? The dangers of it. But let me just look at the dangers practically. There are such limited resources. Why? Thankfully, in order for people to seek help and get the benefit they need from their insurance to get the proper care and attention they need with professionals, now the disease of addiction is recognized as a disease. And so there's
Insurance will pay for your stay.
Does not apply to porn yet. Does not apply to sex addictions yet. Because it's not substance based.
But that's why it's so hard. Like, that's exactly why anyone listening to this that's in this place is feeling so completely hopeless.
Yeah. I mean, you can be a homeless fentanyl addict down on the streets, and if you just decided you wanted to stop, you just raise your hand, and
go to
insurance
detox.
is going to pay
Insurance
for it.
is going to pay.
They're going to help. Tons of resources. People aren't even going to look at you differently. I mean, this is some powerful stuff. So it's not only the limited resources. Last thing, it's the shame behind it.
Amen.
It's the ultimate secret. I mean, we go to church right now and you can stand up at the pulpit and be like, you know what? My husband's like 3 months into his recovery from alcohol. And guess what? Everyone's just going to embrace him. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like back in the day, you might've had a couple judgmental people, but now everyone's like, oh my gosh, sweet. So it's like half of my family. But it comes to this thing and it's like, imagine a woman staying up there. Yep. My husband's in treatment right now for a sex and porn addiction.
It's so hard. And here's the thing. I wanted to just quickly talk about it's so dangerous because of the impact it has on family relationships, right? Like your relationship with your spouse becomes absolutely shattered into a million pieces when pornography addiction and sex addiction is present. There is no way around that. That is a direct consequence of the consumption. Is that the person closest to you, your spouse, your partner, instantly is shattered beyond recognition. They don't even know how to articulate the pain. It is invisible to anybody on the outside, but the actual impact that it has on your marriage, your family structure is beyond anything. It would match and override anyone whose spouse was taken to treatment for a meth or cocaine or heroin addiction.
You know what's sad is that holds true not only if they're in the addiction, but also when they're trying to recover from it.
Of course. Absolutely.
It's lethal for that reason. So I think we could probably go on for 2 days about.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, yeah. If you're listening, you're going, yes.
Yes, we know. And it's horrible. And what it does to a person's brain, expectations, like the physical sides of it, the danger. Oh my gosh. And the fact that they're all progressive. This is the thing that's so misleading about this. A pornography addiction can progress quickly or slowly. Same with like alcoholism or any other drug. But what starts out as something innocent always ends up leading to unimaginable things.
Unthinkable, unspeakable.
Right? They're paying for it. They're acting out. They're going to massage parlors. They end up sleeping with underage people. They're consuming content that is inappropriate, underaged, illegal, violent. By the way, I did speak at a youth thing recently, and after having interacted with enough people in recovery from this, may I remind you that when a loved one gets to a point where this is underaged or it's violent, right? Like this is horrible now. Like this isn't like a naked person standing there or two people having sex. This is like it's progressed to like abusive stuff. Mm-hmm. People can't fathom. But when your loved one progresses to that place, or when they're acting out with prostitutes or escorts or whatever it is, it doesn't happen overnight. But even the stuff that is so far beyond a person's imagination of being acceptable, where you look at this person, in the beginning, it wasn't even sexual. They watched so much porn and consumed so much porn that it didn't really excite them anymore. So then all of a sudden, pornography has like an algorithm too. It's introducing and showing other little things, just like we see on social media, where it'll be like, boop. That's the first time they see something where it's destructive and violent isn't appealing. It's not a sexual thing. It's almost just like a shock. Like I remember when I was younger and I used to see people fight outside school. I'd find myself watching, even though I was like, oh, I didn't want to watch, but you just keep watching. It's kind of where it starts, and then it just starts to rot out the brain. There's so many dangers. So can we get into some of the constructive stuff?
Yeah. Like, I want you to help everyone listening here go, okay, yes, yep, you're speaking to my soul. I get it. What is my role? I want to talk about that. I want people to go away going, I know what my role is.
So
and isn't.
I actually wrote this down, what your role is and what your role isn't. So what your role is to satisfy or manage their sexual behavior.
Did you hear that? That's not your role.
And I don't care who you are. As soon as people find out, the first thought, other than being like crushed, is like, I need to do something. I need to be sexier. I need to like be more creative. I need to do something more.
Or I need to lock up their phone. I need to lock up this. It's all these.
Their addiction, it's not your responsibility. For some reason with this one, we all look at ourselves as something we're not doing right. It's different, right? Like even if you look in your loved ones, like all of a sudden you find out they're doing mushrooms and drinking or something, like you're disappointed and heartbroken, but you aren't looking at yourself of
You're not like, well, maybe I should be doing that.
Their recovery is not your responsibility. So what your role is, learning how to effectively intervene. Getting the proper tools, professional support, and community to clearly understand what your role is and isn't. To take actionable steps to step out of the shame. Because that is nothing but a spiral that over time, some of you are listening now, the saddest part is the people that have been enduring this for so long with someone they love, looking back at the time that this has happened. That's one of the hardest things for me to stomach in this program, is when people come and they start talking about how long this has been going on, and hearing like the agony in their voice to like come to this realization that this has been going on for so long. Because during that time, the spiral just keeps going and going. Not only is your loved one's addiction progressing, even though none of you ever want to believe it is, but you are falling deeper in with them.
I'm really glad you said that, because that's the truth. When he says it keeps spiraling, it's because you don't understand your role. You assume that your role is to control them, to satisfy their sexuality. You make it about you.
The things that they're going to do to take the desire away.
Right. Like you're literally like you make their problem yours instead of focusing on the things that are in your control. Getting yourself support. Getting yourself educated. Now, that does not mean get a therapist. Therapy would be great. I'm not saying you don't need it.
Yeah, down the road, there's a perfect time to do that.
But I'm saying you need actionable steps on how to move forward, because what you know right now is not everything. And so you need support and tools on exactly how to move forward so that you're not continuing the spiral. You're not trying to manage their life, so to speak, thinking that that's helping while only drowning.
Oh my gosh, can I share something?
Please.
There's a woman in group this week, and I'm sure she'd be fine if I shared her name, but I won't. Her situation was one that I've worked with where I thought this might be impossible. And this was about 9 or 10 months ago. And it's everything we're describing here. And it's parallels with the journey that everyone experiences, especially like a spouse with a loved one, and what it does to them over time. Because this had been going on since they got married, about 15 years. And it was so incredible because she went through this excruciating process at first of coming to understand the disease, putting together a plan of action, gaining the tools and support she needed, the professional support, the community support, where she came to this place and described it so perfectly as I was able to get my voice back. But not only that, my voice came from a place of unwavering love and conviction. She'd gone through the process of acknowledging the pain, working through accepting that she wished she could have or would have done something sooner, that there's unknowns ahead. But what's interesting is when they do that, they're able to put boundaries in place rather than threats and requests, which are the only thing that's been happening this long. Now that, everyone will agree, sounds easier said than done. Everyone will also agree that it's sensible. Of course that needs to happen. The amount of people that are able to do that on their own is the single reason why the addiction continues to thrive instead of us getting on top of it. Mm-hmm. You cannot do it alone. The parallels in this, I'm getting off subject, but please hear me. It is so absolutely unfair. I'm just going to say it. I'm sorry for mother's ears out there. It is absolute bullshit that those closest to someone in addiction actually parallel them over time. And in order for this to course correct or for recovery or healing to start, both people have to get into recovery. It's so unfair because you didn't do this. You didn't put anyone here. It wasn't your fault, but that's the only way out. Yet nobody's willing to accept and recognize that. In our program alone, the success rate is extremely high compared to the nation's average. We're like 10 times the success because families are willing to look at their part and to take those actionable steps.
Mm-hmm. Amen. And it requires that support. It just does.
Let's get into these two because I think these two topics.
So I was going to say it actually segues really well into the next part, which is why words alone do not work. And I know that's so frustrating, and I know you're experiencing it. I know.
Not only do they not work, but they actually just don't matter. I mean, we did a podcast. How long ago was that?
It was a long time ago.
Really?
Probably 6 or 7 months ago.
Oh, my brain morphs together. I felt like it was not that long ago. But let's talk about this a little bit. Because when I say this, I definitely get pushback. I think it's better understood if I say, your words only matter for you. So if my wife and I were having this conversation and she's approaching me about this situation, how you say it and what you say to me, if I'm in that state, matters to you so that you know you said it, that you feel convicted and good and maybe at peace with what you said. But to me, it matters nothing. We've shared this in the past episode and episodes before. Remember the disease of addiction is so delusional. It will take what you give it and use it the way it needs it. So if you're so loving and sweet and kind and tolerant, and it will just continue to thrive because it will. Everything's okay. I don't really have a problem. If you're demanding and nagging and pointing fingers and complaining all the time, it's going to be like, oh my gosh, she's so nagging.
It's an excuse to use more.
This. Like, I'm so denied.
This is why
I'm denied as a man.
Yeah.
I'm all over the place today. Not only is pornography nowadays so different than any day before, but there's also simultaneously so many voices. So if you're engaged in this, there's so many voices in the forms of podcasts and different men out there on platforms that are speaking garbage of what you as a man deserve. What's you deserve. It's crazy.
It's definitely a huge driving factor here.
Yeah, that they're consuming this content and doing it, but then there's voices telling them that this is fine.
Yeah.
This is part of who you are as a man.
Yeah.
It's the way you're made. Go take what is yours.
Well, and I want to say, while we're on this topic, that I am positive that you have multiple times expressed the pain you feel because of their consumption. I'm positive you have. And the fact that there is repeated behavior moving forward that is completely ignoring your pain, I want you to know that's called abuse. That's an abusive relationship. And I know that they will tell you the opposite, that you're awful and that you've driven them to this point and you deserve, blah, blah, blah. None of that is true. When someone ignores pain and suffering that you have expressed over and over again, that is called abuse. And that is why getting support, community support, especially, is so critical to your growth and your progress, because you have been minimized and belittled to a point where you are no longer recognizable and you don't feel like you have a voice anymore. And I'm here to tell you all of that is lies.
And can I add the other side of that? Mm-hmm. For you, yes, recognizing that's abuse, but that's also your indicator to understand the level of this illness.
Amen.
Right? So you're looking at this person, and more than ever, you need to separate the disease from the person you love that's trying to kill him. Is if they could, at this point, they wouldn't allow or tolerate that abuse. I mean, if they do, that's a whole different level. We're talking about some narcissistic, crazy person, but the reality is they can't.
Amen. And I was listening to another podcast this week, and I actually screenshotted this on the transcript, so I'm just going to read it really quick. And it was this description of addiction in a clinical laboratory sense, okay? And it was, what will the test subject give up in order to get the thing to which they are addicted? So in this case, they would give you up. And that should tell you how addicted they are. It's not because you're not worth it. It's because they have crossed a bridge from a poor choice to a poor coping mechanism to a bad habit to addiction. Actual addiction. That's what we're dealing with. It's a monster.
Okay, so when we stop using our words to try to persuade someone, our tears, our emotion, how do we effectively intervene? How do you effectively intervene? I mean, for some of you, if you don't effectively intervene soon, you're going to be forced to leave one way or another.
Yeah.
So how do you effectively intervene?
Or you're going to have a big problem on your hands if this is your child, and there's going to be criminal charges sooner than later, right?
Without intervention, everyone ends up forced to leave. They end up incarcerated or they end up dead. Believe it or not, there's a lot of people who go down this path so far where their drug of choice is humans like this, and it leads to a place of desperation, and suicide becomes a viable option pretty soon. So how do you effectively intervene? Let me just give you the basics. You surrender. I'm not talking about them. You surrender. Raise your hand. I need help. You seek help. You find a professional, someone to help guide you through this, someone to help you put together resources and a plan. It's what I do every day of my life. You find an actual program and you commit to that program. In that program, hopefully you find a community of people that are willing to take actionable steps as well. When you do all of this, you come to this place of strength and conviction where you are now speaking to the disease, no longer with what you were before, which were worn down, exhausted requests, where you come to a beautiful, loving place of strength. Not only that, but you have resources to provide. You understand what those steps look like. You understand how to move forward with them. That's how you do it. That's how you do it, because some of you are going to be faced with the impossible. And if you don't do it this way, the alternative is two things. You continue to suffer with them till it ends in a horrible, tragic way, or you end up having to leave out of anger or desperation or fear or safety, no matter what.
Yes, you just spoke the truth.
So that's how you effectively intervene. Now, to do that, you're going to have to come to a realization of the big picture. You're going to have to come to a realization that this is what it is rather than what you wish it was or wish it could be.
Yeah. And that's actually really, really hard, because again, most people want to minimize what's going on. I mean, that's natural, especially with somebody that you love. If it's your child, you're like, no, they didn't really do that, or no, they weren't really looking at that, or no, it's natural. But it's essential to know that anything that you know is is just a little tiny, tiny picture.
Thank you. Thanks for saying that. I say it every time. People probably get tired of hearing it.
And I wish it wasn't true.
And it's not meant to discourage you. It's just meant to remind you that what you know is the tiny fraction where they messed up, slipped up, got caught, and it is bigger issue. So please, that should fuel you with courage. Let's not doubt yourself anymore. Let's take the steps.
Well, and I just want to say, too, if this is a child, you should feel very motivated to want to do this just because of the consequences moving forward. Let's say it hasn't gotten completely out of control yet to where that you're aware of, at least, that you're worried about charges being pressed. That's it. That's right around the river bend. It doesn't really go any other direction.
And no one ever that's happened to saw it coming.
No. So it should really motivate you to want to invest for yourself in learning how to do this so that their future can be preserved too, because nothing good is coming.
Yeah. So in that big picture, let's just quickly give like a male perspective, female perspective. I think from a male perspective, a quick, obvious one is it just kills drive. It kills motivation. Oh. It's killing these young people, right? Like we all crave and desire and want sexual relations in our life. We all hopefully do it in the right manner, but this way just removes their drive. It removes the passion for life. I mean, think about all of us men, everything we do in life, you guys, everything we've done since day one when we could walk is to impress a woman. When that no longer is there, you have no desire or need to do anything. That's why so many of these young men are falling wayward, is there's no drive left. Not to mention like the sexual dysfunction that occurs at a young age. I mean, have these kids getting erectile dysfunction before they even get married.
Oh yeah. I mean, and the female perspective is vast, because obviously relationally there's nothing that could blow up a marriage faster than a porn addiction. There's nothing that could destroy a family faster than somebody becoming addicted to this and then possibly exposing other people in the family. The cultural consequences of this are devastating, and we have all seen it by the objectification of women. Yep. Across the board. Women thinking that they have to look like this, girls thinking they have to look like this, girls believing that this is what boys want. I mean, this is poison to everything just and good in this world. So yep. we know that.
You can reclaim your life. You can. I do want you to know it's possible. I've seen it. When I explained that woman earlier, there's so many times where it seems impossible, and it's usually based around these sexual addictions. But I've seen it. I've seen it with people in my own life, people that I work with, people in my church community. You can reclaim your life, but you cannot do it alone. Our secrets keep us sick. That is their secret. Now that you've somehow discovered it, I'm sorry that you have to realize that it started a long time ago and you're just now catching up to something that's progressed for quite some time. But as long as it stays your secret, right? And that's the hard part. Maybe it's too hard to talk to your own parents about it, to people in your own family. Maybe it's too hard to talk about with your in-laws. Find yourself a community where you can start speaking. The secret will hold power over you as long as it stays your secret. But that's the key to starting. And I hope that what you do is transition and giving you courage to take that leap of faith and the next step to get professional help. Sometimes that there is a sacrifice you'll have to make financially for that. But the alternative is far worse. Nobody just wiggles out of this, you guys. Please. That is one thing if you take away. No one just wiggles out of this because they went and talked to their priest, bishop, or pastor. It doesn't happen. Mm-mm. It doesn't happen. They would have stopped a long time ago when they saw you crying for the 300th time. Again, it's so unfair. Mm-hmm. But if it depends, if you say, I won't do this anymore, as soon as you get support and tools, it takes away power from this addiction and starts to give it back to you.
Well, and if what we said earlier is true, and it is not your job to manage someone else's sexuality, then what also is true is that it is your job to manage yourself.
Yep.
With what you know is true. You have the facts right in front of you. So my advice, if you're hearing this and it's touching your heart is get support immediately. I'm glad you found this community. We have a free community you can join that is in the show notes. You could also join our paid community that's a private and amazing, but you have to make some moves for yourself and for the rest of your family.
Yes, please. In this free community, we're going to continue to be putting out resources for this to help people, introduce them to different tools and strategies and support they need to get the support necessary to change these situations. So please take advantage of that. And please, again, you share this with some other people. It's happening in far too many homes. I wish I couldn't confidently say it's happening in the majority of homes. It's just whether they know about it or not.
Right.
Also, tiny little plug. If you have little kids, start talking about this at a young age. You can reach out to us, message us on social media, or go to our website and message us if you want some referrals or recommendations on books and stuff to send out. But start talking about it. Get ahead of it. Take the power away from the secrecy of it. So thank you guys.
And I'm going to close with a serenity prayer for families. God, grant me the serenity to accept that I cannot change other people, the courage to change the person that I can, and the wisdom to know that it is me. Love you guys. Hang in there.
Have a good week.